every sign's strongest hours today, and the one stretch that suits routine work rather than fresh starts are coming in this reading. Welcome and settle in for a moment. These readings are given from your Vedic Moon sign, the sidereal moon sign, so the houses I describe are counted from where your moon sits, not your Sunday. Readings today are from your moon sign. The link below finds yours in 10 seconds. Today is Thursday, the 6th of August. Timings are anchored to New Delhi. Krishna Ashtami runs until 6:53 in the evening, a tithi that favors finishing and refining more than launching. Bharani holds the moon until 8:13 in the evening, steady and capable of carrying weight. Rahu Kala falls from 2:07 to 3:47 in the afternoon. Use that window kindly for routine work, review, and quiet catching up, and let fresh beginnings sit either side of it. If someone near you is carrying something heavy today, offer a hand with it. Aries, today your presence itself does most of the work, so let people meet you directly rather than through explanation. Yesterday the moon opened in your first house of self, vitality, and how you come across, so you likely felt unusually visible and quick to respond. In work and money, Mars, your own ruler, moves through your third house of effort and communication, and courage does reach you before caution does, which makes this a good window for the conversation you have been circling. Keep the sharper hours before Rahu Kala from 2:07 to 3:47 in the afternoon, and let that hour carry quieter work. In relationships, Aries, Jupiter sits exalted in your fourth house of home and inner ground, and that steadiness supports you in listening longer than usual, especially with family. Bharani Nakshatra holds until 8:13 in the evening, favoring honest, unhurried talk. For energy, the moon stays in your own sign until it moves into your second house of resources and speech at 1:53 at night tomorrow. So spend today's brightness rather than saving it. That first house shine settles as the day closes. If something useful sits unused in your home, pass it on quietly to someone who needs it, expecting nothing at all. The day is yours to shape. Shape it kindly. Taurus, today rewards a slower rhythm, and slow has always been where your best work gets made. Yesterday already asked you to turn inward, and you likely felt the pull to do less and say less. The moon still moves through your 12th house, the place of rest, retreat, and letting go. So at work, this favors closing loops quietly rather than launching anything loud. Clear one small backlog item today, and let that be enough. Your period lord Jupiter sits exalted in your third house of courage and communication, which supports one honest conversation you have been circling. Taurus, you are ruled by Venus. You build slowly, and you build things that hold, and relationships are where that shows most. Saturn in your 11th house of friendships and gains casts its full third aspect. So a friendship may ask for patience rather than answers, and patience you have. For energy, keep the evening light. Because the moon moves into your own sign at 1:53 at night tomorrow, and tomorrow will want you rested. That quiet day closes with your own return. So say the encouraging word you have been meaning to say to someone without waiting to be asked, and let the saying of it be the whole of it. Move through today at your own pace. It is the right one. Gemini, today the sky favors the wide circle around you, and the easiest good comes through people who already like you. Yesterday, you likely felt the day sitting lightly on your shoulders, with friendly hands appearing where you needed them, and that same warmth carries forward. The moon still travels your 11th house of gains, friends, and wider networks. So, a message to someone in your circle is a good window for progress on work and money. Jupiter, your period lord, is exalted in Cancer in the second house of earnings, family, and speech, and that supports honest conversations about what you are worth. In relationships, curiosity is genuinely how you move, Gemini, and connection has never cost you much effort. So let Mercury's gift do its quiet work. Ask one real question and stay for the answer. For energy, the moon shifts into your 12th house of rest and retreat late tonight. So plan a soft landing rather than a late push. That is the shape of the day. Light in company, then gently inward. Before the day closes, do one small chore that nobody assigned to you, quietly, without mentioning it. Let it stay unclaimed. That is enough. May the day meet you kindly and leave you a little lighter. Cancer, today gathers your public face and your private heart into one steady place, and you can trust what you sense in the room. That climb through your 10th house of career and public standing left you visible in a way that asks something of you. Jupiter, your period lord, is exalted in your own first house, and that gives your words weight at work. Say the plain, useful thing in a meeting rather than the polished one, and let it stand. The moon steps into your 11th house of friendships, networks, and gains in the small hours after midnight tonight. So, a conversation you begin today can widen quietly into something more shared by tomorrow. In relationships, Cancer, your gift for reading a room before anyone names the mood is real. Use it to notice who has gone quiet and simply ask. For energy, this Thursday favors pacing over pushing. The Bharani Nakshatra holds until the evening, a good stretch for finishing rather than starting. That widening circle is the promise this day keeps. So find the person whose work everyone benefits from and nobody mentions, and thank them by name, expecting nothing back. Whatever today asks of you, you have met harder days than this. Leo, warmth arrives ahead of you today, before you have spoken a word, and that is your quiet advantage. Yesterday, the moon opened in your 9th house of belief, learning, and long journeys, so the day likely carried a wide, reflective feeling, more thinking than doing. That house still holds the moon now, which favors study, planning, and conversations with people who widen your view. Your period lord, Jupiter, sits exalted in your 12th house alongside the Sun and Mercury, and that gently pulls work toward quiet, behind the scenes progress rather than announcements. Do the unseen preparation on Thursday, and let the visible turn come when the moon moves into your 10th house of work and standing at 1:53 at night tomorrow. In relationships, Leo, with Rahu retrograde in your 7th house of partnership, listen a bit longer before answering and let the other person finish. For energy, Venus is debilitated in your 2nd house of speech and resources, so keep talk soft and food simple and rest during the Rahu Kala window 2:07 to 3:47 in the afternoon. The day rewards depth over display. If someone you know is unwell, sit with them a while and let them set the pace, asking nothing at all in return. Let today be useful rather than perfect. Virgo, today rewards a steady hand more than a bold move. And you already have that hand. Yesterday's moon in your 8th house of shared resources and deep change likely asked you for a softer pace, and that request still stands until it lifts. At work, Mars in your 10th house of career casts its full 4th aspect, which means your effort is visible even when it feels unglamorous. So pick one task and finish it cleanly. Jupiter, your period lord, sits exalted in Cancer in your 11th house of gains and networks, and by evening, that shows itself in a friend or colleague opening a door for you. In relationships, Virgo, Saturn in your 7th house of partnership casts its full 7th aspect back to you, favoring patient listening over quick correction. Precision is instinct for you, and quiet service is the shape your care takes. So let that precision go into understanding rather than fixing. For energy, Chandrashtama applies to you today and eases at 1:53 at night tomorrow, when the moon moves into your 9th house. So keep the day light and rest early. The softer pace you held yesterday completes itself tonight. Somewhere near you, someone is hungry. Share a plate and let that be the whole of it. Walk gently today and let the day come to you. Libra, today favors the rooms where you and another person sit across from each other, and you are unusually good at holding that space. Yesterday, the mind moved easily through your house of partnership and close alliances, meeting people halfway without strain, and that ease carries forward this morning. On the work and money side, Jupiter, your period lord, sits exalted in Cancer in the house of career and reputation, which supports being seen clearly by people above you. On this Thursday, let one honest update speak for your work rather than a long explanation. In close relationships, the moon still rides that 7th house until it shifts into the 8th of shared resources late tonight. So this is a good window for the conversation you have been circling. Venus rules you, Libra, and you find the balance point in almost any room. That is what makes today's talk land. For energy, keep it simple. Bharani ends early in the evening, so front load anything that needs steadiness and rest afterward. The day closes as gently as it opened. Before dark, set out a little water or some grain for the birds or a stray animal near you, asking nothing at all in return. May today bring you one moment worth remembering. Scorpio, today favors depth over speed, and the quiet work you do well is exactly what the day rewards. Yesterday, the moon opened in your 6th house of daily work, health and routine, so the day likely felt light and manageable in your tasks. That same 6th house still holds the moon now. We support steady clearing of small work and money admin. Take one lingering item on your list and simply finish it. Here is the payoff to watch for, a warmer note in your closest conversations. Scorpio, the moon moves into your 7th house of partnership at 1:53 at night tomorrow. And already the tone with the people nearest you begins to soften. So speak the honest thing gently before the day closes. Jupiter, exalted in Cancer, in your 9th house of wisdom and belief, casts its full 5th aspect, and this supports clear perspective. You go deep where others skim, and your resilience is easy to underestimate, Mars being your ruler. For energy, keep meals and rest simple, and let Rahu Kala 2:07 to 3:47 in the afternoon be a slower stretch rather than a pushing one. The day ends where it began, in quiet competence. Give someone your full, unhurried attention while they speak, expecting nothing back. Your free full chart is waiting on the website whenever you want the detail behind today. Go easy on yourself today. The stars are patient, and you can be too. Sagittarius, today rewards the honest search more than the neat conclusion, and you already know how to travel that way. Yesterday sat lighter on you than most days, a quieter stretch that asked less of your energy. That quiet hands you into this one. The moon still rides the 5th from your sign, the ground of creativity, romance and play. So let your work carry a little color today rather than only competence. Jupiter, your own ruler, sits exalted in the 8th from your sign, the house of what lies beneath the surface, and it favors patient digging into a money question you have been circling. Mars in the 7th sends its full aspect back across your own sign, Sagittarius, which can make conversations more forceful than you intend. Slow your reply by one breath and the partnership steadies. Saturn from the 4th, your ground of home and inner rest, casts its full 10th glance. So guard your sleep tonight, especially as the moon shifts into your 6th of work and well-being at 1:53 at night tomorrow. There is the payoff of that patient digging. Less noise, more clarity. Optimism is your default, so spend some of it outward today. Carry something heavy for someone who is struggling, a bag, a task, an hour of their load, and expect nothing for it. Wishing you a calm and steady day ahead. Capricorn, today ask you to stay close to your own ground while 3 planets light up the horizon of other people. Yesterday's mood was inward and home-facing, and you likely spent it protecting your own quiet. The moon still moves through your 4th, the ground of home, family, and inner steadiness, before shifting into your 5th house of expression and play late tonight. With Jupiter exalted in Cancer as your period lord, looking across from your house of partnership, agreements and shared work are supported today. Bring someone into a decision rather than carrying it alone. Sun and Mercury stand in that same house of others, Capricorn. So conversations land better when you let the other person speak first. You play the long game by nature, not by discipline, and that patience is exactly what makes today's talks go well. Mars in your 6th house of effort and obstacles throws its full 8th aspect, so energy runs hot in short bursts, work in blocks, rest between them, and keep the stretch from 2:07 to 3:47 in the afternoon for routine tasks. The day began quietly at home and ends with a door opening outward. Somewhere near you is a person who has been alone lately. Call them or sit with them, expecting nothing back. Let today be simple. That is enough. Aquarius, your mind is quick and courageous today, and small moves you make yourself will carry you further than waiting for permission. Yesterday's moon in your third house of courage, siblings, and short journeys likely left you with an easy inner steadiness, and that steadiness is still with you. For work and money, Jupiter, your period lord, sits exalted in Cancer in your sixth house of daily work and service, which supports patient effort on routine tasks and quiet cleanup nobody else volunteers for. Saturn, your ruler, is retrograde in your second house of income and speech, so let money words stay measured and reviewed rather than rushed. In relationships, Aquarius, that third house lift favors the short conversation, the message to a sibling or neighbor you have been meaning to send. You think from an angle nobody else tried. So offer that angle plainly and let others catch up. For energy, the moon moves into your fourth house of home and comfort at 1:53 at night tomorrow. So treat this evening as a natural wind down and keep rest simple. The day's courage settles into home ground. Somewhere today, give up your seat, your place in a queue, or an hour of your time to someone who needs it more, expecting nothing at all. May something small go beautifully right for you today. Pisces, today favors putting your imagination to work on something practical, and the day rewards a steady hand with what you value. Yesterday opened with the moon in your house of money, possessions, and what you value. So the last stretch likely had you weighing worth, cost, and what deserves your resources. That thread continues. With the moon still in that second house, this is a good window for tidying a budget, pricing your work honestly, or finishing one earning task rather than starting three. Your period lord Jupiter sits exalted in Cancer in your fifth house of creativity, casting its full ninth aspect, and that supports ideas that feel generous rather than merely clever. Pisces, you are ruled by Jupiter. Compassion moves you first, and imagination reaches where analysis cannot, which is exactly the strength this creative light asks for. In relationships, Venus in your seventh house of partnership casts its full seventh aspect back toward you, so warmth is available if you speak plainly. For energy, this Thursday runs gently until the moon moves into your third house of courage and communication at 1:53 at night tomorrow. Let the day settle by teaching someone patiently through something they have been struggling with, asking nothing back. Carry this lightly and have a truly good day. May today move gently for you with steady hands, clear thinking, and enough quiet to hear what actually matters. Take the guidance as an invitation, not an instruction, and let your own good sense lead where the sky only suggests. Small choices, made kindly and without hurry, are usually the ones that carry the day. If something asks for patience, give it patience. If something asks for courage, You already have more of it than you think. Rest well tonight and let tomorrow arrive on its own time. If today's sky was useful, subscribing keeps it coming every morning.